This lesson is about two things: trig functions of general angles other than 30, 60, and 45, and also inverse trig functions. That's if we're given a trig ratio, we're going to find the angle associated with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the calculator and round to 4 decimal places. A regular scientific calculator has 3 trig functions on it: sine, cosine, and tangent. So it's really wicked easy to do that. For the sine of 37, you're just going to push the button that says sine and then type in 37. And make sure that your calculator is in degree mode. For the TI-30, you just go up to the top left, push the DRG button, and select degrees. So once I hit sine of 37, it'll prompt me, it'll come up with a little guy here that's a parenthesis, and you can put the other parentheses in. The other parenthesis, I should say. And then when you hit it, you're going to get 0.601815023, and of course this goes on and on forever. But I only want to round to 4 decimal places. So here's 4. The 1 makes the 8 stay the same, so it's 0.6018. You do the same for the cosine and the tangent. The cosine 37, rounded to 4 decimal places, would be 0.7986. That's rounded. Tangent 37, and you can try this on your calculator just to make sure you're getting the same thing I am, 0.7536, because I had to round up on that one. Now what about these goobahabas? Well, these are the cofunctions. Remember that the cosecant is 1 over the sine of 37 degrees, cosecant. Cosecant of some angle A is equal to 1 over the sine of the angle. So how do I put that in my calculator? Well, I'll go over here. 1 divided by the sine of 37. Just pop that into your calculator. 1 divided by the sine of 37. Notice how I wrote it like that. And after I do that, I get 1.6616, rounded to 4 decimal places. Now when we do secant, secant and cosine are related by the secant of some angle A is equal to 1 over the cosine of that angle. So how am I going to do that? Well, that's going to be equal to 1 divided by the cosine of 37. So I do it on my calculator. Don't forget to put the parentheses after the 7. So we're going to get 1.2521. Ta-da! Now cotangent, we're going to use that reciprocal of the cotangent is the tangent. So the cotangent of A is equal to 1 over the tangent of that. So I'm going to do 1 divided by the tangent of 37 degrees. But my calculator is in degree mode, so luckily I don't have to put that in. And when I get that to 4 decimal places, it's 1.3270. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. On to the... So now, again, we're going to do the same thing with 111. So the sine of 111 is going to equal 0.9336, rounded to 4 decimal places. Cosine of 111 is going to be negative 0.3584. And we'll explain a little bit about the negative thing in a little while, so don't panic if you're getting a negative number. So doing the tangent, I'm getting negative 2.6051. And remember, the tangent of an angle is the sine of the angle over the cosine of the angle. So we would expect this tangent to be negative since the cosine is negative. Okay, cosecant, again, I'm going to remind you, you're going to use 1 divided by the sine of 111 to get that. So 1 divided by the sine of 111 to get that. Are we psyched? So it's 1.0711 rounded to 4 decimal places. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, can't I just use this value? No, because it's rounded. So you want to always put it in there as the exact value to begin with and then have the calculator do the calculation with that. Secant, I'm going to do 1 over the cosine of 111. And cotangent, I'm going to do 1 over the tangent of 111. Okay, and again, these are in degrees. I should have the little happy hoo-ha degree symbol. Please forgive me. So that's going to be 1 divided by the cosine of 111 will be the secant, which is going to be negative, which we're not shocked at because the cosine's negative. And then last but not least, the tangent, 1 divided by the tangent. I love that the calculator puts that first parenthesis in, and that's going to be, the cotangent will be negative 0.3839 rounded to 4 decimal places. Next. Now, here's the deal. We are going to now use trig ratios to find angles. So here is the deal. We're going to use something called the inverse trig function. So that's when you don't know the angle, but you know the trig ratio. Cool? So here we go. This is theta, and would y'all agree with me that the sine of theta is going to be 5 over 13, opposite over hypotenuse. So, but we know the sine, I want to get the angle. So the same thing is the angle itself, which is called theta, is the inverse sine of 5 over 13. So see this little negative one, that and the sine coupled together, that says inverse sine. Or for me, I want to find the angle whose sine is 5 over 13. Cool? That's how I think of it. The minute I see inverse sine, I say to myself, I want to find the angle. So what you're going to do to get that is you're going to use the second button on your calculator. So you're going to press second, and you're going to press the button sine, and then you're going to put in 5 divided by 13. And we're going to round to the nearest tenth of a degree. So here we go, second button and inverse sine, it'll be 5 divided by 13. Don't forget to end your parentheses because this will come up with the first one, but you got to do the last one. And occasionally you don't have to do it, but it's always safe to put it in. And I'm getting 22.619866495. 61986495. And I just need to round to that cutie pie. So the 1 makes the 6 stay the same. And I'll put a little degree symbol there. Cool? Let's. Oh, okay. So here's the thing that we're going to do right now is now we're going to find the angles. So here we have the sine of theta is equal to this. So we're going to hit second sine button, and then we're just going to put in 0.5623. Okay, and we're going to round to the nearest tenth of a degree. So do it with me. Second, clear out, second sine of 0.5623. Make sure you get the same thing. I am getting rounded to the nearest tenth, 34.2 degrees. And we're going to do the next one, which you're going to press the second button and then the cosine button, and then the little guy 0.8598. You don't really need the 0 in front. You can put it there and type it in. It doesn't matter. So second cosine, so you'll see that inverse cosine thing come up, 0.8598, and we end up getting to the nearest tenth of a degree, 31.8 degrees. Okay, now we'll do the same thing here. We're going to get the angle whose tangent is 3.256. So you're going to hit second, tangent, and then 3.256. Second, tangent, 3.256. And your parentheses. Don't forget to put little cute parentheses. The first one comes up, but then you want to do the second one to be sure. This is 72.9 degrees. And then you continue on in this fashion. This will be second sine of 0.9612. This one's going to be second cosine of 0.0026, and this one will be second tangent and 0.6502. Perfect. So I'll quickly do those so you're not like totally crazy bored. 0.9612, and I'm getting 74.0 degrees when you round it. And then second cosine 0.0026, and my parentheses, I'm getting 89.9 degrees. And then for the last one, second tangent 0.6502. So I'm getting 33.0 degrees when you round. Okay, now for these, without using a calculator, we're going to find the measure of the angle. So I want to find an angle whose sine is 1/2. So the minute I see that, I'm going to write down, this is so exciting, I'm going to write down the 30, 60, 90 triangle that I know and love. And I'm going to write down the 45, 45, 90 triangle that I know and love. Boom, bah. All right, some of these might be challenging, but if you haven't memorized, we're good. So the sine of some angle is 1/2. So if I look at this guy, 30 degrees, the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2, opposite over hypotenuse. So I know x has to equal 30 degrees. Cool. I found the angle whose sine is 1/2. The angle is 30 degrees. What about the angle whose cosine is 1/2? Well, we're still involved with this triangle. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that would be 60 degrees. Cool. So the angle whose cosine is 1/2 is 60. And we're not shocked at this because 30 and 60 are complementary angles. So the sine of 30 will be equal to the cosine of 60. All right, next one. Well, whenever you have a bunch of 2's involved, you guys, it's going to be this guy. Now you're saying, okay, what is the cosine of 45 degrees? Using the triangle, we get 1 over the square root of 2. But rationalizing, right, multiplied by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2, we get the square root of 2 over 2. Yay! So x is 45 degrees. What about the tangent? Well, let's take a look at this triangle again. The tangent of 45 is 1 over 1, which is 1. So x is 45 degrees. So now you can do the assignment associated with this lesson. Keep on trucking. You're doing great.